Are you ready? Stand by.
Welcome to the Three Gun Show, episode 91. I'm your host, Dave Hartman, coming at you from Osage Beach, Missouri. This week, Kurt Heavy Drop Gruber is back on the podcast, and I caught up with him at Rocky Mountain 3 Gun to discuss the challenges of shooting at the NRA Whittington Center, how being prepared for a match sometimes means shooting it unprepared one time, and how to plan your match schedule around your work schedule. Plus, I have a bit of bonus content on observing a good sports performance and how you can use that to increase your own performance after the interview with Kurt, so hang around for that. Now, we'll get into the interview and the bonus content in just a moment, but I wanted to take a minute to tell you about a match that I just shot, Generation 3 Gun, which was at Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri. This is my first year at Gen 3 Gun. It's been going for a few years now, and this was an amazing match. It was a ton of fun. There's 8 stages. None of them were in a bay, which was cool. This is a complete departure from what I'm usually shooting. Now, the match ran pretty smooth, save for a couple of stages that ran really late because it rained, and it rained, and it rained. It rained so much, like the first couple days, that there's all kinds of people getting stuck, and they had to be pulled out with, UTVs and bigger trucks, and even I think there was a bulldozer pulling out some trucks that were stuck in the mud and everything. So that presented some challenges there. But these the stages were great. They were straightforward. There's no gotchas or any kind of there's like 3 hidden targets that were kind of hiding throughout the entire match. But they were all there on the walkthrough, and the ROs even pointed everything out and stuff. So there wasn't a whole lot of options. Some stuff was like shotgun or pistol, but most people shot it the same way. And I was just like really super impressed with how the match ran. There was events each night. Like one night there was a cornhole tournament, which was kind of cool. And then the prize table / awards ceremony was actually pretty cool. They ran for a couple hours, which most people are like, oh, let's get this over with and get out of here. But not in this case, because there was actually a big emphasis placed on the mission of Generation 3 Gun, which is to provide shooting opportunities for young people in our sport. And Gen 3 Gun does that, not only through the matches, or through the match that they have, but as well as providing scholarships to juniors throughout the year. So I really enjoyed the match. It was great to be able to get in and shoot it. I love the message of Gen 3 Gun and their mission. So big thanks to Chad Francis and his crew for putting that match on. And hopefully I'll be able to shoot it again next year. Now on to the main part of the show here. As usual, links to everything that we discuss in the interview can be found at 3gunshow.com/episode 91. And that will include a link to Kurt's first interview, which was in episode 63. And now please join me in welcoming back to the show, Kurt Gruber. Kurt, welcome back to the 3 Gun Show.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for having me, Dave.
Dude, I'm excited to have you. We're here at Rocky Mountain 3 Gun, and we're sitting inside the Coors Center, which is it's kind of like a tiny airplane hangar sort of thing,
This facility here is pretty friggin' amazing.
It is.
This Coors Center hall here is pretty awesome place to have for the banquet here. I guess was it Friday night,
yep.
And then results and awards and everything. This will be a perfect place to have that. The fact that there's a range right out back where they could do the shoot-offs, man, this whole Whittington Center facility is
it's pretty incredible.
It's kind of blown my mind.
Yeah, it's definitely like a feat or a sight to be seen if you've never been here before. I remember coming last year and just expecting the type of ranges to see in Colorado, which is just flat dirt, and they got to build berms and stuff. And this is just like a completely natural, surrounded by mountains sort of thing, and it's like breathtaking. It is. I hate to be.
Well, it's literally breathtaking too for us, for us lowlanders. Yeah, it would be pretty awesome if we could have a facility like this about 6,000 feet closer to sea level.
Closer to the ocean.
Yeah.
Well, and for the audience, if you hear people over the intercom asking for Jeremy there or whatever it is, we are in the area that they're going to be doing awards and the prize table walk and stuff like that. So there's a lot of we're over in the corner, but there are speakers above us, and there's a lot of stuff happening here. So bear with us. But Kurt, we talked before you ran the match that you are famous for in Texas, and I'm not kidding. You're famous. Everybody talks about this match and how amazing it is. So it's Texas 3-gun, sponsored by Extreme Bullets.
And Freedom Munitions.
And Freedom Munitions.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. At the Copperhead Creek Shooting Club in Marble Falls, Texas.
Yep.
I saw the prizes that you guys had from this, which are exactly Texas style.
Are you talking about the belt buckles?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's no way you can ever do an event like that without a huge support staff. And, myself, Brian White, who's our operations director, and then Aaron Hayes, who he does, PR, and he was the range master for the match. Going into a match like that, we had this huge checklist of stuff to do. One of the things we had on our checklist was trophies. Last year, the trophies were pretty okay, but they weren't really what we definitely wanted to do better than last year.
So with your trophy, you want something unique, right? Something
Absolutely.
that stands out, something that people remember as being your match,
right?
Rather than just another trophy that they can put in the case.
Yeah. So at one point, a couple of months before the match, I'm talking to Jansen, and we're kind of going through Jansen Jones from Howl Machine, which is the parent company of Extreme and Freedom, and I was telling him, kind of working on things, and he's like, "Hey, man, don't worry about trophies. I got this under control." I'm like, "Awesome,
cool. One thing off the list.
Any one little thing I can check off the list, perfect." So Jansen, so match shows up. Jansen tells me he's got the trophies. I haven't seen them, but Jansen is always good for his word, so I wasn't worried at all. And I think it was Sunday before results, BJ breaks out this box and says, "Hey, check these out," and opens up these belt buckles, and I was floored. These belt buckles were amazing, and they went deep. I think they went 10 deep in TAC Ops.
Wow.
5 deep in every other division. Buckle for the high techs and the high junior, the high. I don't remember if there's a buckle for the high senior or not. But yeah, so it was pretty amazing.
So it's when you say buckle, it's like a what you would expect,
It's like what you would expect if you won the rodeo.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
Right. Absolutely. Very intricate. Just cool.
Mm-hmm. And they had the name of the match on there, the place you took, what division you took.
Yep.
And definitely something you could wear out and be proud of.
Absolutely. It's definitely one of the trophies that I doubt ended up in the back of many closets.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of the guys, because in reality, it's a lot of the same people winning the trophies at every event.
Sure. So
that's the other thing, is giving those guys something that is unique, something that they haven't ever won before.
Right.
So that was really cool. Like I said, then I can take zero credit for that. That was 100% Jansen.
That's awesome.
Aaron and Brian and I had toyed around with a WWF style champions belt, but it just.
I think this probably a little bit better because when people think of Texas, that's the type of thing that comes to mind.
Yep. And the match went off pretty well. I was pretty happy with how it went. One of the great things about the match this year, Brian and Aaron did the range mastering duties. Brian was stats, and Aaron was the official range master, but we were one radio short.
Oh.
So who didn't have to have a radio? This guy.
Attaboy.
So when they needed me, they called my cell phone. Other than that, I just went around, just trying to keep things on track. It's amazing how much time as a match director you spend with a stopwatch.
Right.
Sitting there saying, how can we cut 30 seconds per shooter on this stage to keep things moving? So
that's interesting. And so your match had like a pretty good mix of base style stuff, natural trains type stuff.
So we had 4 base stages and 6 natural train stages. And it was a good mix. Everything's, one of the things that we kind of pride ourselves in is we like to shoot a lot.
Yeah.
Other big thing is that we don't hide targets.
Oh, okay.
Everything is out in the open. We're going to give you shooting challenges that are very doable, but they're very challenging also.
Mm-hmm.
But one of those challenges isn't going to be, hey, where the heck are the targets?
Yeah. So where we're at Rocky Mountain 3 Gun, it's a little bit different.
It's probably exactly the opposite.
Yeah. So I was walking stages, and I actually was walking the all pistol stage, which is a gully run, which is freaking incredible because there's like you're literally in like a washout, like a gully washout.
And there's so few times you ever get to shoot your gun at the sky.
Yes.
But with the high steel, you're shooting your gun and there's no backstop behind a lot of those targets.
That you can see. Right.
Well, you can see, but there's thousands of acres of backstop.
Exactly. That's the backstop. And,
right.
And the land.
And it's the second time that I've experienced that. The first time was at Fort Benning.
Mm-hmm.
At Fort Benning at the Krilling range where the AMU throws their match. You've got the whole artillery range behind you.
Oh, interesting. So who cares?
Yeah, who cares where the rounds go?
Yeah. So with that pistol run, it was pretty interesting because as I was walking, and I'm just observing and stuff like that and taking pictures for the show and stuff because unfortunately I didn't get to shoot this one, but I'm looking at the steel targets that are up there, and it seemed like JJ Johnson puts this on. Whenever he puts something that draws your attention,
there's something
that
hiding.
You're going to be missing.
There's something hiding. Yes.
Yeah. So if you're looking up at a target, you got to look at your knees too because there's something right there that you're missing.
Yeah, and I think this match kind of will single-handedly keep whoever produces those mini IPSC targets in business for another year.
Yeah. There was a lot of mini IPSC targets.
There is absolutely zero hoser at this match. Mm-hmm. This match is all hunt and go find it for targets, and it's hard. It's a hard match.
Mm-hmm.
Especially this year, I came with a partially torn meniscus, so came injured to begin with, and it was a beatdown of epic proportions.
This is a hard match to have like a torn meniscus going into it because there's a lot of stages where you're basically required to go prone because there's 500
or take a crazy knee, a knee in in a crazy position.
Well, there was pallets you had to shoot through that are probably thigh height, knee height, depending on how tall you are.
I would say probably the only what I would consider a reasonable shooting position was prone on 3 at the beginning and prone on 2 at the end.
Okay.
And then the entire rest of the match
was painful.
Well, 1 through 5, stages 1 through 5. It was pretty painful. After stage 5, stage 6, there was 6, 7, 8, and 9. There was nowhere I had to kneel. There was nowhere I had to get down prone. So those stages were quite a bit better. But
so Kurt, you're an adult for those who don't know.
Yeah.
But you've also got that competitive spirit, and we've talked about this before. You're a super competitor, so you're coming to this match.
Yeah.
There's no way that you can not come to this match after you've already signed up for it and everything.
Right.
But you've got a torn meniscus.
I've got surgery scheduled next Friday.
Exactly. So how do you justify? You're like, well, I'm just going to tear it up a little bit more, and they're going to fix it on Friday?
I figure at that point I'm getting my money. I'm trying to get my money's worth on the surgery. I don't know. I'd made the commitment to come. Already had, money invested in plane tickets. It's in retrospect, I probably should have stayed home, but I also wouldn't want to miss it for the world. Of course, staying home is also easier with the family.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's kind of one of those juggling acts that we have to do.
Sure. Well, okay, so this is your first Rocky Mountain 3 gun.
It is.
You spend a lot of time in Colorado, though, like in Colorado Springs area.
Yeah.
It's got to be like 5,200 feet there or something like that. We're a little bit higher here, I think.
Yep.
5,900 feet.
The altitude, the lack of oxygen didn't bother me quite as much as I was expecting.
Okay.
But still, like on stage 5, you end on these stupid backward stairs.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, okay, as you're huffing and puffing in the horrible position, it's like, okay, let's see if I can break a shot as my reticle crosses the 410-yard target, because in mid breath, it's because it's rough.
Yeah.
It's a very strenuous match. Especially like I said, for those of us who live at about 800 feet above sea level. But it was interesting. I'm withholding any judgment until I can shoot it someday not injured.
Nice. So
I really enjoyed the stages where I didn't have to get in crazy, painful shooting positions.
Right. So from what I can see, this is like a pants required match too, because you're
I wore
up.
shorts the whole weekend.
Oh, did you really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, see, I was thinking like you're up, you're down, you're running through sagebrush and stuff like that. It's like our trees, around here only come up to like knee height.
Right.
So.
Hey, I wore my 511 shorts all weekend. So.
You said you're going to come back again and shoot this match when you're feeling better.
At some point.
Yeah.
Next year's going to be a pretty light year for me because my daughter graduates from high school, my oldest. So between the ridiculous amount of vacation time I have to take to run the Texas 3-Gun Championship, and we're going to take her on a week-long vacation somewhere in the Caribbean as her graduation present.
Oh, cool.
That doesn't leave a whole lot of vacation time left for me to shoot matches.
Right.
So this match definitely is one that takes about 4 days of vacation time to deal with. I'm lucky in my work. I'm able to, instead of having to, I'm expecting we're going to be done with results around 2 o'clock today. Well, instead of having to do a 14-hour drive home and then start to work tomorrow, I just drive up to Colorado Springs and visit customers in the Springs over the next 3 days. So that's a benefit I have with what I do in the real world. So.
Yeah, and that's a good thing when you can combine trips like that, for sure, because you said, it does take a lot of.
I'm pretty sure most of my match shooting next year will be sitting down closely with the schedule and looking at where I have customers I can visit, and then spend a couple days shooting.
Right.
So.
Well, and that's a good way to do it. It's smart to use your vacation time like that because not everyone has like unlimited vacation where they can get away from stuff. So, Kurt, when you're going to shoot this match, did you like seek out guidance from people who had shot it before? Like what should I expect?
We have a pretty big group of people from Austin that shoot this match regularly.
Oh, okay.
And I talk to them a lot. However, none of them ever shoot open, so none of them can use some of the stuff that I can use in open.
Ah, okay.
So, had I known more, should have talked to Jerry, should have talked to Jacob, some of the guys that shoot open here regularly. I would have brought a lot of my PRS equipment,
like bags and stuff like
bags
that.
And stuff to help get better shooting positions, and because really, honestly, here that's what it's 40% shooting and 60% shooting position, and then 20% breathing.
I don't think your math adds up.
No. So it adds up at 6,500 feet.
So you mentioned bags. That's one thing that I saw Jacob doing was playing on the stairs at the competitors' quarters over there. He's setting up his rifle. He's got bags hanging off of it and stuff like that. And you don't see that a lot. Especially even in the open divisions where bipods are acceptable and stuff like that. Here, like, open is open.
Well, I mean, everywhere else open is open, but nowhere else do you need that other stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's like,
that's a good point.
Did you bring your PRS? Did you bring your bags? No, I shoot 3-gun. I don't shoot. I didn't come to a PRS match. I came to a 3-gun match. I didn't realize that I needed PRS stuff, for a 3-gun match.
Yeah, I was watching stage 3, I think, which is the all rifle stage.
Yeah.
Shots out to like 540 yards. There's shots from multiple positions.
Yeah, that 500. The target lays it between 490 and 500 from the two different positions, and man, I'll tell you what, there was nothing to give you any feedback on where you were missing. If you weren't hitting, if you were missing, there was zero.
Just goes in the bushes and it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the second position there, they had like a ladder to try to like rope you into using that ladder
Right.
for.
Yep.
And it was like a 2 or 3 foot tall
Yeah.
ladder. I got a great
step
video
stool.
of Jay Carrillo like killing that thing, just kicked it right out
Yeah.
of the way. It was pretty amazing. But a lot of the guys I was watching shooting either heavy scope or open, which heavy scope they allow you to
Right.
use like bipods and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They would have like giant bags like strapped to their rails and stuff. So when they go
I have
prone,
all the same stuff for when I shoot PRS.
yeah. Well, me being
all
a three gunner,
all that stuff is strapped to my surgeon rifle in my safe at home. I mean, like I said, I wasn't expecting a PRS match.
well, me being a 3-gunner and
Right.
only going to 3-gun matches, I don't see that a lot.
Right.
So it was kind of interesting to see all the different solutions for shooting in that type of environment.
Yeah, in this match, like I said, there were no good shooting positions in this match, and it really shows how the two sports can kind of come together. So in PRS, one of the rules of thumb in PRS is you never put something hard on something else hard. So you always put something soft in between, like your stock and a barricade.
Mm-hmm. It's a good life lesson too.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. But so that way, with the bag between your gun and the barricade, you're able to, the bag will form fit and help you get a good, much more solid shooting position. So that's something that you need to hear.
Interesting. So that's completely different from like rock climbing, where you want to use like, your bones instead of your ligaments.
Yeah.
And, bones instead of muscles and things like that.
Yeah.
Huh. So how much PRS have you shot?
Unfortunately, not nearly as much as I'd like to.
Yeah.
I got all the gear, got all the rigs, started going to some club matches, and then Dell called and offered me the job that I've been wanting forever, and it included about 50% travel. And my lovely wife said, well, if you're going to take this traveling job, you're going to have to give up something, and you don't shoot much PRS, so maybe you should give that up for a while.
Smart lady. So what are the things that you've learned in PRS other than, the soft on hard, hard on soft sort of thing that translate to like your 3-gun game? Because I see a lot of guys that shoot 3-gun wanting to stretch it out and
so to the general 3-gun game, not a lot, other than trigger control. But in a normal 3-gun match where there's a lot of hosing and a little bit of long range, that trigger control doesn't come into play nearly as much. Here, I mean, trigger controls everything. Don't slap the trigger. Follow through with your shots. I remember the first PRS club match I ever went to. Went out. I've got all the right gear. I've got a Surgeon 6.5 Creedmoor rifle with a U.S. Optics ER25 friggin' scope on top of it with a Horus reticle. I've got my dope. I've done. I've got all my data. I've spent the time getting ready for that first match, and I went to that first match and I hung my ass out. I mean, I just like, I'm laying there and I'm not hitting anything, and I'm like, I know. It's like I got good data for this range. I know what I'm doing, and I finally get to the last stage, and one of the club guys is like, all right, I can't do that. I can't be mean to you anymore. He says, dude, this is not 3-gun. Stop slapping the trigger.
Oh, really?
Right. And that last stage, I got 12 of 13 points on the stage. Just by saying, oh, dude, just don't slap the trigger. And I, proper trigger press and follow through my shots, and also knows hitting everything. And I was like, well, gee, why did you tell me that 6 stages ago?
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. So when we had one stage of that match, and it was an interesting match to go to for your first match. I learned a lot at that match. I learned that while shooting a suppressed rifle helps a bit, when you put a suppressor, a 8-inch long suppressor on the end of a 24-inch barrel, and you need to remove it around barricades, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So I stopped running suppressors after that. And I think we went out to 1,300 yards at that first match, which I had the data for it. And I went back after the match was over and hit the target. But on the clock, you heard the beep, and I'm thinking, gotta go fast. I'm slapping the trigger and missing everything.
Now, are there other 3-gun matches that you've shot that are similar to this, where there's like a lot of long? No. Huh. Never
shot another match that was like this. I literally shot. I think I shot 40 rounds of 55 grain and about 250 rounds of 77 grain at this match.
Oh wow.
Which is flip.
Yeah, that's complete opposite.
Complete
of what
opposite
you would
of
normally
most
expect.
matches. Right.
Yeah, yeah. I've shot some majors where you can get away with like 10 or 12,
Right.
long range rounds.
Right. Because even the medium range here, because especially because of the positions and because of some of the cool terrain features they're using, like that stage 3, all those targets were in a valley.
Right.
And the valley was doing some weird wind things. So you wanted the heavy stuff that pushed through the wind harder, even on the 180, 100, 200-yard targets that maybe usually you would use 55 grain stuff for. I think the only stages I used 55 grain for is I loaded 10 rounds of 55 grain on top of my 77s for the for stage 5, which was the stairs, because there was 5 pieces of paper pretty close before you get to the long range target. And then on stage 9, all the targets were within 130 yards, so I went ahead and ran 55 grain on that stage.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah, shoot, that's not a lot. So when
No.
they give you a round count, you got to figure most of that then is your precision
right,
ammo.
exactly. Yep. And the only 55 grain that I brought was stuff that I already had loaded in mags that I threw in my bag to come.
Oh, okay.
I didn't actually pack any 55 grain ammo specifically for this match,
Interesting.
but I brought 350 rounds of 77 grain.
Now, is that because you had talked to your buddies beforehand
Yeah.
and you knew that
Yep.
that was coming? Okay.
Yep.
Huh. It's funny. There should be like a, post-game lessons learned of every match that we can like compile and put into like an app or something. Like, oh, I'm going to go to Rocky Mountain.
But that would be too nice. Then everybody else would miss out on the pain of the first time.
That's true. There is like quite a bit of a
It's
learning
kind of like
curve.
hazing.
Yeah, exactly. When you come to a major match, there is like the hazing that the
Yeah.
targets and the terrain and stuff like that give you.
Yeah, this year I think I might have lost my mind, but we'll find out. My schedule this year hasn't been as heavy as I'd like either, but it's just been between work and family and everything. So the next thing on my schedule is Blue Ridge.
Oh.
So, which takes physical to the next level.
Yeah. Now, have you shot Blue Ridge before?
I have not.
Okay.
I'm kind of afraid of it.
So that's the one that I was
but-
specifically thinking in my head. Like, do they have like longer range targets and natural terrain to?
So they have a lot of natural terrain. I don't think they have anywhere near as much long range as they have here.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, you'll cover half a mile in the stage. It seems
Right.
like. So right now, depending on how it goes with my knee surgery and rehab and stuff, I'm about 80% sure that I'll be there.
Yeah. So when is Blue Ridge? It's like
Second weekend in October.
second weekend in October. Okay, and so it's the
So I'd have about-
third weekend in August that you're going to have your knee surgery.
Right.
Third Friday in August you're going to have your knee surgery. That's kind of pretty close, man.
Yeah, it is. But it's a meniscus, and the doctor says meniscus is, you can come back from a meniscus tear pretty quick. If it was like an ACL, I'd be, SOL.
Yeah.
But
Good one.
with a meniscus, hopefully it can come back pretty quick. And then, we'll see. Next year might be even less because the doc's also trying to convince me to do a partial knee replacement of my other knee. So, because the other knee's pretty much bone on bone.
Damn.
So.
Which, as we know from PRS, is not a good thing,
It is
right?
not hard on hard,
Hard
not
on
good.
hard, you don't
Yeah,
like that.
there should be some cartilage in between there. But so we'll see.
Gotcha. So these longer, longer stages,
Mm-hmm.
longer matches where you're talking about covering distance, going up and down hills and things like that, and with these greater targets.
Right.
Does that specifically appeal to your strengths, or do you like?
No.
No. You like it? It's a little bit shorter in.
So I like. So my perfect match is kind of basically the one I run.
Oh, okay.
I designed that match. Every year at the end of that, once that match is set up, I'm really annoyed that I don't get to shoot it for score. I like high round count. I like, times, the average stage times between, 60 seconds and maybe 120 seconds, depending on, depending on the shooter. I think I had stages at this match where was on the clock longer than I was at every Three Gun Nation regional that I've been to combined.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy.
So,
yeah, so the part times on this, some of them were like in the 200...
6 minutes.
6 minutes?
Yeah, there were a couple of stages with 6 minute part times.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. So this is not a half-day format match. It's a shoot, break, shoot, and then you're done, right?
Right.
So
and it's 9 stages over 3 full days.
Yeah.
So you shoot 3 stages per day.
Yeah, and those stages are spread out on 33,000 acres.
And, and they do a great job of grouping, you shoot 1 through 3. So the same squad shoot 1 through 3 on Monday. So whether you shoot 1, 2, and 3, 2, 3, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2.
So you just kind of rotate around that little area.
You rotate around that 3 stages, and then the next day you rotate around the next 3 stages, and the last day you rotate around the last 3 stages. So that helps you keep everything somewhat together. It helps the schedule out a lot.
Well,
it looks like
Kurt, that sounds like the call, and we'll probably have to end the podcast here because you're going to have to go walk that prize table. And
I've got a long time before I have to walk that prize table.
Cool. Well, Kurt, we're going to wrap it up here because I know that we're going to have interference with the intercom. But a couple last thoughts. What other than the knee surgery and maybe getting a Blue Ridge, what else do you have going this year that you're looking forward to?
So I'm looking forward to. I'm shooting 2 night matches this year. I don't know. I enjoy the hell out of shooting at night.
Yeah.
It's fun.
So Starlight, I'm guessing.
Starlight,
it's right in your backyard.
Local, yep. And then the Walking Dead zombie multi-gun, which is about 2 weeks before Starlight.
Okay.
Which is in Crescent, Texas.
Oh, that's also in Texas.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that's probably about it. I'd like to shoot more, but a lot of the matches that I'd like to shoot are in September, and with my real world job, I cannot take days off in September. So.
Gotcha.
And also, it's my daughter's senior year, and you only get one of those per daughter. So she dances on she's on the drill team, so we're going to a lot of her football games and stuff to spend her senior year with her. So
great. Well, Kurt, hopefully you recover from your surgery quick. You're able to make it to Blue Ridge and get some practice in shooting in the dark for those night matches.
Yep.
Man, thanks for coming back on the show here.
Absolutely.
It's great to see you in my area of the country.
Right.
Up high here at the NRA Whittington Center. And thanks for being on 3 Gun Show.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
I hope you enjoyed that interview with Kurt Gruber. It is always fun to catch up with people that have been on the podcast before, and cool to hear Kurt's impression of a match that he had never attended before. Now, like I said before, I have some bonus content for you. I'm trying something new here. I listen to a lot of podcasts myself, and some of the stuff that I hear is applicable to what we do in our sport. So I thought I would start featuring some of the relevant content from time to time, and let me know what you think. If you like this type of bonus stuff here, you want to hear it, let me know. If you don't want to hear it, let me know that too. And you can just email me, dave@3gunshow.com. So first one that we're going to do is from the Joe Rogan podcast. For those not familiar with Joe Rogan, he is a comedian, podcast host. He hosts the UFC fights. He's a hunter, and he used to compete at a high level in Taekwondo. So in this clip here, Joe talks about observing the best to better yourself.
When I used to play Quake, people used to get into these things called demos. Like, you would watch guys like, there was this kid named Thresh. He was like the big gamer back in the day. The big Quake player is like one of the best in the world, if not the best. And I would watch his demos just because he could fuck guys up playing that game in a way that I could never do. And I think if you can watch someone do something, like when I was competing in Taekwondo tournaments, one of the things that really helped me a lot was I would go, like when I was coming up, I would go and watch like big time tournaments. Like I went to Colorado Springs to watch the World Cup. And this was in like, I would say like 1986, I think it was. And I went to Colorado Springs to watch the World Cup because I knew that the best fighters in the world were going to be there, the best Taekwondo guys. Guys like Herb Perez and, God, I'm trying to remember some of these names. There was this guy, Nassim, I don't remember his last name, but he was this bad motherfucker. from the Ivory Coast. Boy, I'll remember it. As soon as this podcast is over, I'll remember his name. It's driving me crazy. Patrice Remarque, that's his name. Patrice Remarque was his name. It's not Nassim. Nassim was another guy who was also a bad motherfucker. There was a bunch of them. But anyway, these guys were like at a very high level, much better than me. And I remember going and watching them compete made me better. I remember seeing that level of competition, and then all of a sudden in my mind, I had higher expectations of myself and a higher ceiling, I guess, of potential. Like I looked at all these guys and how good they were, and I realized what was possible. So it sort of ramped up in my mind what I needed to do to be at my best. And immediately afterwards, I went on to win one of the biggest tournaments I ever won, which is, one of the biggest in Massachusetts, the Bay State Games, which was right after I got back. Just from watching, I got better, guaranteed.
Well, there you have it. Joe Rogan from the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, discussing how observation of a sports performance can increase your performance as well, because the expectation of what is good increases. What I love about this clip is that Joe said his own ceiling increased. Remember that the next time you watch the best guy at your local range, or you see like Keith Garcia or Jerry Michalek or Daniel Horner attack a stage, don't just think, oh, wow, that guy's good, and go back to your own game. Know that you can be like that with the right amount of effort. Again, I'll have links to everything we talked about, including the link to the rest of the episode with Joe Rogan, which is about 2 hours, at 3gunshow.com/episode 91. If you want to support the 3Gun Show podcast, you can do so by using our affiliate link when you shop at Brownells. Just go to 3gunshow.com/Brownells and shop like normal. We earn a small commission on what you buy at no additional cost to you, and helps to keep the show running, so much appreciated. If you like the 3Gun Show, tell a friend about the podcast. If you see new shooters at your local match, tell them too. You'll be their hero for sharing this resource. Let's grow this thing, and let's do it together. Show someone how to subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, etc., and how to leave a review. Thank you so much for downloading, listening, and subscribing to the show. I'm Dave Hartman, and I'll catch you in the next episode.
If you are finished, unload, show clear.